Greetings, good morning. My name is Apostle Estelle Praise from South Africa, Cape Town, from the church called Jesus Praise Fresh Fire Ministries. And we have started a fast today, a 40-day fast from the 1st of June, which is the beginning of the 7th month that is left over of 2020. It is also the last month of JJ from January to June. And so beginning the fast is that we have to build an altar, because you do not bring a sacrifice to God without an altar. And so I want to start our 40-day fasting by encouraging people with the fast with an altar, and say, why do we build altars, or and why is it necessary for a child of God to have an altar where he can where he can go and offer his sacrifice? What is his sacrifice? And today I want to read you a verse in the book of Genesis, chapter 20, verse 24, that says, "An altar thou shalt make unto me, and shall sacrifice thereby thy burnt offerings and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen, in all places where I record my name. I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee." What a word of promise, what a word of covenant, where God says, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. Now, as we are about to erect our altars, what exactly do we entitle? What exactly is an altar, and why? What is needed for an altar? And so today I will begin just by giving you 7 points. In fact, 8, if you have an altar, 8 points that will help you of what is needed to build an altar. Let's start with God. You can never build an altar where there is not a presence of God, where God is not there in it. But he says, and I will be there, and I will bless you. Wherever you erect this altar, I will come to you, and I will bless you. That means, first and foremost, an altar needs the presence of God. One does not build something when there is not a presence of what is needed to build it to. One does not worship in the absence of worship. It is just mere words. It is just something that you do out of habit, out of whatever. Something God has to instruct you. The holiness of God, the voice of God has to instruct you to do the fasting, to do the altar, to erect the altar. In whatever way he has instructed. Some people build altars differently. Some people get different instructions. I am talking about what God has instructed me, and why I'm sharing it with you. That first and foremost, it is the presence of God. It is God himself that needs to be part of the altar. Then secondly, there has got to be a priest. You do not build an altar unless there is a priest. Because thirdly, something has to be offered on the altar, which is called the sacrifice. There can be no sacrifice coming unto God if there is not a priest to do the sacrifice for you. My God, somebody has to hear this. Now, it is the presence of God. It is the priest that brings the sacrifice to God. That's why Jesus in the New Testament becomes the high priest, the sacrificial priest. And then there has to be a sacrifice. But on what these 3 elements is so vital and so profound is that you need the next following things. You need the stones. You need the stones to build the altar with. Then you need the wood that you can place upon the stones. And then you need the fire that will cause the wood to catch fire and to be burned. Then you need the weapon of what you will kill the sacrifice, what there is needed to be a weapon. So let's begin to say there needs to be stones for you to build the altar. Then there needs to be wood for you to make the fire of the altar for the altar. Then there needs to be fire for the wood to catch fire in order to burn upon the stones. Then there needs to be a weapon. The 4th thing is a weapon that is needed to kill the sacrifice. Then the 5th thing, there need to be a priest that will kill kill the sacrifice, then there needs to be the presence of God. So these 7 things, in some instances where Elijah had to build the altar, he even brought water into the altar. We will go there during the time of this first week of erecting your altars. Get your place where you can erect the altar. Is your altar perhaps in your bedroom? Is your altar in your lounge? Where exactly is your altar that you're about to erect? But let me come to bring to you, you need the stones, you need the wood, you need the fire, you need the weapon, you need the sacrifice, you need the priest, and you need God. And God says, when you put there I will come to meet you, and there I will bless you. And so from tomorrow morning or later today, I will begin to bring more or explain more about these elements that needs to be present when building your altar. Begin to prepare, begin to collect, make sure that it's a living stone, that you are there to bring your sacrifice upon, that you can place your wood on. Make sure that the stones are living stones that you can erect your altar on. Have a blessed day. Shalom.